Welcome to the KW Next Gen podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin Pennington, and part of the Next Gen team. Here, we will hear stories from young adults who are living big lives and attaining really big goals. KW Next Gen is a 501c3 nonprofit that was founded by Gary Keller of Keller Williams. Our mission is to empower and equip the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs with the tools needed to remove limiting beliefs, take action, and live. KW Next Gen is founded on the models and systems of Quantum Leap, the material that Gary Keller has been teaching for years. It helps people understand how to build big businesses, to live really fulfilling lives, to understand financial literacy, and remove all of those blockages. So join us as we talk with our young adults who are implementing these practices and really accomplishing their big dreams at a young age. We'll also have a chance to talk with our instructors, our board members, and our coaches who are pouring into the next generation and making a really big impact on their community and our world at large. So let's jump right in. Hi, Bailee. Very big welcome to the KW Next Gen podcast. How is your day going so far?
Going well. Yeah, doing good. Doing good. How are you?
I am doing so well also, and I'm excited to chat with you today. Just before we begin, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how old you are and where you're from?
So, Bailee Crenshaw. I am from Red Oak, Oklahoma. I work as a tax accountant in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I am married. We've been married 6 years, my husband and I, and we have a beautiful daughter who's 3, and I am 28 years old.
That is so amazing and so nice to hear just all the different sides of you, right? Personal and professional. So good. In your own words, how did you stumble upon KW Next Gen and how did you first learn about us?
So, first heard about KW Next Gen. I attended a women's leadership summit here in Fort Smith. Barbie Johnson spoke, and she briefly mentioned in that about a 3-month coaching program. And so I was really interested in her and then also learning more about the coaching. I applied and was accepted into the coaching program. So yeah, that was back in December 2023 when I first attended the summit, and then January of 24, and I was accepted. My coaching actually started like April that spring. But yeah, I was very fortunate and excited to have applied and been accepted. I really wasn't sure what to anticipate or if I was going to be accepted. I remember, being nervous for that, and it was more than I could have anticipated.
Yeah, it's important to note that you didn't come into this like through real estate or anything. You
Right.
don't work in real estate. You're
Right.
not a real estate agent, and you learned the Quantum Leap material at a women's leadership summit. So, can you talk a little bit about what you do for work and
Yes.
how that is just a really good note for anybody, if young adult that's not in real estate, not affiliated with Keller Williams. You don't have to be like Bailee; she's not, and you can be in any line of work in any different industry. And for people that are instructors too, it's a good reminder, or even just Keller Williams people that are spreading the word. It's a good reminder, like talk to people outside of our industry, talk to people
Mm-hmm.
outside of Keller Williams. Like there are great ways to bring this to other leadership summits, to bring it to colleges, to bring it to other community events. It's a great way to reach people, wonderful people like Bailee. So do you want to talk a little bit about the industry you're in
Yeah.
and all of that?
So I am in oil and gas. I work at Hannah Oil and Gas, and I've been here 4 years, started my career in public accounting, was involved in that for 2 years following my undergrad. But yeah, so I'm a tax accountant, and I'm actually working toward my MBA in accounting now as well. I actually came upon working for this company through the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. They had a young alum and executive mentorship program where 2 mentors were paired with a mentee, and I just happened to be paired with an executive mentor. He was the CFO of Hannah Oil and Gas at the time. And so anyways, we met monthly, and that's kind of how I got to Hannah Oil and Gas. But It's a great company.
Yeah, and the fact that you're getting your MBA and that you are in the accounting world, that's very math heavy, that is very logistics heavy. Like you have to have a very specific skill set and interest in that line of work. And it's just so great to hear from different people that work in different industries. And like you said, that you really enjoy the company you work for and that you were introduced to it because of a mentor. It's
Mhm.
just good to remind ourselves that oftentimes we wind up maybe in a job or an area of work or even a career in itself, all because somebody maybe creaked a door open for you or like pointed you in the right direction of an interest that you wouldn't otherwise know, and that we can be that for other people too, of saying, hey, have you ever thought about this, have you ever tried this, or like what do you like to do, and I just have so much admiration for you because I don't think you could pay me enough to be an accountant. So I am just so grateful that we're all made differently
Yes.
and that we all find different things interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do you want to rewind a little bit? So, this all happened. You said a little bit about your first quantum leap experience. And what was it like after you first took that class or when you decided to apply for coaching? What was really like the first impression of all of that? Or what did you take away from it initially?
So, the first quantum leap class that I took was the Maximize Your Potential online webinar. And I remember there being a model displayed in that with topics regarding like learning from your past, envisioning a future, um, and taking action. And it was in that I really reflected on what it was I hadn't been doing and what was like the best action for me to take to achieve what I was envisioning. And I recognize in that, and in discovering my mission as well, that in order to fulfill the mission and becoming an empowering mentor for others, I first needed to develop a key mentor relationships for myself. And so again, that model just displaying, because sometimes we know, like, I think where we want to be or what we envision or what, our goal may be, but we're not actually reflecting on, okay, well, what are the steps? Because, what steps have I taken that haven't worked, or what steps am I not taking that I should be to really fulfill and achieve that? So the Maximize Your Potential webinar was really eye-opening for me. And yeah, I enjoyed that. And then applying for the coaching, um, followed that, and I was paired with Cami Minks as my coach, and she was outstanding. Loved her.
That's so wonderful to hear. And yeah, I think that it's like, it's a great point too that you started with taking like one of our shorter classes. Like sometimes Quantum Leap and as a whole is like a full 8 hour day usually, or you
Mhm.
come to QL Summit for a whole 3 days. And that's a big commitment for people that maybe don't know what they're getting themselves into. So that's a great point on our website. There are smaller, shorter form classes that our instructors are putting on a regular basis too. And sometimes they're in person. So there might be one near you, or a virtual one is really great too. I know I often teach some of the shorter virtual ones, but I think you were in one of mine,
Mhm.
Bailee. So just like trying to allow people to have like smaller, more digestible sizes. I think that's a really good point for anyone that is like, what is Quantum Leap or what is this material or anything, like just maybe try one of the snack size ones first and get an
Mhm.
idea of what you're getting into. And then you can always dive into the full Quantum Leap later if you want to. And then also you just bringing up Cami. Cami is one of our wonderful board of directors and she's been part of the organization for a while. Also, I believe she's the youngest of our board members. She might be just
Okay.
about tied with one of our others, which is really neat too, because although she is a mentor and a coach and really helps a lot of our young adults, like she's not that much older than you all
Mhm.
either. So it's a good point too that you said like you want to be a mentor to others, but you got to find your mentors first. And
Right.
then you're someone else's mentor and it
Right.
dominoes down, which is so now you've taken the Quantum Leap class, you've gone through the coaching with Cami. What are really some of like the models and systems you talked about in that first class or your mission statement, but what are some of the things that you still use day to day that you feel like has really helped you from Quantum Leap?
So for me, it's definitely the 411. I still keep up with that, details, the monthly and weekly objectives, which really hold you accountable for what your GPS reflects. And that was part of my coaching experience. I think that's probably what I appreciated maybe the most, was the accountability that it held me to. I aspired for some big things, but I didn't necessarily see like a roadmap on how to accomplish those. It let me like really align my goals with also my life mission, which I didn't know what my life mission was before Quantum Leap. So to discover that, but then also align it with your goals, was amazing. But again, the 411 just really helps to hold you accountable. It actually helped me to achieve one of my 3 GPS priorities earlier this year. I think Cammie and I wrapped up our last coaching session in June of 2024. And part of what I was striving to achieve was the APA certification, which is Accredited Petroleum Accountant. And in January of 2025, I passed the APA exam, which has also just ultimately helped to shape and help me grow within my career, and just another step in bringing me closer to achieving, then my 5-year goal and becoming a mentor for others. And two, the Fund My Mission scholarship, of course, come out of the coaching experience for me as well. I was able to then apply for that. And flash forward to today, I've now been fortunate to have been a recipient of 2 Fund My Mission scholarships, which has helped me to achieve my MBA in accounting, or will have soon. I'm 1 class shy. Anyways, thanks to the Fund My Mission scholarships, I've been able to really make progress toward, things that I honestly may not have even considered before. So seeing it really now come to fruition has just been a blessing.
Well, so very well deserved. And I think and that's so exciting. So congratulations on all of it. And what's really neat too is what you said of like, you knew you had big goals, you knew you had big ambitions, you knew that you wanted to do stuff, but sometimes it either just feels like it just stays there. Because if you aren't able to work it back of like, what am I going to do today to make that happen? Or what am I going to do this week or this month to make that happen? Then a lot of times it feels overwhelming, it feels daunting, it feels out of reach. And so to use the like skills and take ownership yourself to be like, okay, now I actually have that roadmap, like you said, to get to that. So I just have to break the big thing off, the whole like eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
Although I don't like thinking of eating elephants. So I feel like maybe eating the pie.
Yeah.
So a large pie, one bite at a time. Like you said, the Fund My Mission scholarship, I think that that's such a great part. You've already talked about like how beneficial the classes can be and how amazing Cammie has been as a mentor and everything. Those are elements that are also funded by donations. And then of course, the scholarship is also funded by that too. And, we can't do anything as a 501c3 nonprofit. Like we can't do anything without donations. Like none of our programs happen, none of the classes happen, none of the coaching happens, and of course, none of the scholarships. And it's really, really neat though to see young people like yourself, Bailee, that are like, I have this really big ambition. I need the schooling, or I need to attend this event. I need to get this extra degree or whatever the case may be, certification, and just need some extra funds to do that. Like we all need a starting point. And it's so nice to be able to provide that to you all, and because of our donors, and only because of our donors. So it's great that you've been able to use that for really good purposes. And I just cannot wait to see all that you do with it in your career, in your life, and as you're building your family, being a mentor to those that are coming after you. You're passing it on, which is really, really great.
Okay.
So if there is a young person like yourself out there in the world, like maybe they know you, maybe they don't, what would you tell them about our coaching scholarships classes? Like, why should they maybe partake in one of them?
Just being in your 20s, I think it's important for every young person to really know and understand their worth. And that's kind of where I see young people benefiting in some form, to not be encouraged after participating in one of even just the Maximize Your Potential webinars is nearly impossible. I think the encouragement and servant leadership that is there for young people. They just have to grab on and try and put themselves out there to want to. And if they, I mean, I think it's in doing that, you will have encouragement and you will better understand your worth and your confidence. I also think it's important for young people to reflect on like what rooms they want to be in. Right. KW Next Gen for me really felt like it feels to me like being in a room with people with like-minded people that you really aspire to be like. I believe it's one thing, to dream big, but then to have the encouragement and the to speak with people who've been there and done it and then now want to share what they've learned along the way. That's the room that I want to be in. And I think young people should strive to, consider and I would encourage for them to be in as well.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There is this really special magic that happens in any Quantum Leap class or any KW Next Gen event because most people there are somewhat like drawn to this inspiration piece. A few people may be there because their parent or mentor or whatever said, hey, go and be in this room, and they don't really know
Right.
what they've gotten themselves into, which is fine too. More than
Mhm.
welcome. Come and sit in, see what you can take out of it. And yet what's really, really cool is like you said, there are the instructors, there's our board members, there's our coaches too, that some of that is overlapped. But it's these people that have lived some life and they've decided like, hey, I want to share my knowledge and I want to share what I've learned with younger people. And the fact that they are volunteers and they're not necessarily being forced or paid to be
Right.
there,
Right.
this extra layer of generosity and just says
Mhm.
a lot about their character. Same, like that is the kind of person that I want to learn from too. People that like have done a lot in business, are really successful. Everyone from our founder, Gary Keller, to all of our many board members and so on and so forth. Like these people have done some pretty cool things in their life,
Mhm.
yet they're still wanting to like share it with others. They
Mhm.
want to be generous with their time, generous with their knowledge. But what's really cool too is how younger people. I mean, there can be a 17 or 18-year-old in the room, and there can be a 75-year-old in the room, and everything in between. And everyone's learning from each other. Like, there is some that's on the younger side of things that may say something or have an aha or ask a
Right.
question that
Right.
makes all of us like go, oh, and
Yeah.
like really open up our minds as well. So it's also cool too to be like, yes, there may be the instructor and yes, there may be the attendees, but like it's very collaborative on
Yeah.
who's learning what and what we're getting from each other.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's a cool synergy to experience for sure. And earlier you had also mentioned your mission statement. So I didn't want to forget about that. Do you want to share your mission statement or the general idea about it and
Yeah.
why it guides your life?
Yes. So the mission for my life is to honor God by leading others to understand their worth and to think out their objectives by empowering their confidence and developing plans of action. So, in doing those, leading others, being a mentor for others. But again, it kind of ties back to wanting to help others find their confidence and empowering them, and also just developing, a plan for their life or their 20s or, for their next step and big move. So,
Yeah, would you say that's something that this process has helped you grow into and kind of overcome, like step into your confidence and step into your ability to be a leader and a mentor? Do you feel like that has helped you?
absolutely. Yeah, I really do. So, um, this summer, of course, attended the Quantum Leap in person as a leader. And that to me was very eye opening. I left feeling more encouraged and empowered than ever. I mean, really, it was an incredible experience. Gary Keller, wow. He spoke on so many topics that really resonated and inspired me. Even just like asking some of the questions he asked, he spoke a lot about building a life with great purpose. And some of the questions that I still try to reference that he mentioned was, are you thinking in a box, or are you making a life or just making a living? I think another question he asked was, am I adopting the right habits and relationships? Like reflecting on that again, kind of back to, are you in the room that you should be in to get where you want to go? He also shared a perspective, I think, of no one ever achieves their true maximum potential alone, and that also resonated with me in that we need people, we need mentors. I think everyone should have a mentor, and someone to look up to and lean on and bounce ideas off of. So again, for me, really focusing on, okay, are my mentors? And, but then with that, like, how can I get closer to becoming a mentor for others along the way? So again, back to just more since Quantum Leap this summer, I've tried to be very diligent in focusing on my relationships and connection with people and the foundation that I'm building with others around me.
Wow, that was very impressive, first of all. You're just quoting QL and Gary just right and left, which really is a testament to how much you embody it and live it. And it's like, it's one thing to just be like, yeah, it's a class, you can learn some stuff from it, but like really taking it as your own and deciding like, these are the questions I'm going to ask myself. And
Mhm,
these are the things that I'm going to be led by. And I
mhm,
think it's just so, so important. And again, that mentorship piece, it's like whether you think of leading your daughter, right?
right,
Or her friends in the future, it could be all of us have either siblings or cousins or family members, or we all have the opportunity to just be members of our community. We can volunteer, we can be in those rooms of organizations or other opportunities to be able to give back to other people. We also have people that may be listening that like it is their full-time job to be a mentor. They could be a teacher or they could be,
right.
an instructor of some kind or anything like that. And so no matter how it comes to be, it really is like making a life rather than just a living. And that can
Mhm,
be at your technical job or it can be outside of the walls of your job or it could be both, hopefully.
mhm, right,
Where you're doing that you fulfilled by, you're doing things that you feel like you're contributing to the greater good. It feels like you're doing things that you like to do, that you're good at, that fills your cup, that fulfills your mission, all those different things, while also contributing to your own life and your society
right,
at large. So, um, I think that all of those are so great. And it was such a pleasure to work with you as a QL leader this past year at QL Summit, which was our big flagship 3-day event in Austin, Texas that Gary Keller does teach Quantum Leap directly. And so it's a great opportunity for a few hundred people to come to Austin and witness it together. And we also have a virtual option for those that can't travel. And it's a great way to exactly your point to put yourself in those kind of rooms
mhm,
that are going to help boost your confidence, to show you what's possible, to I just think it rubs off on all of us. The inspiration, the ambition, the thinking outside the box, all of that just really like everyone just rubs off on each other and starts like feeding off of the energy and it's very,
right,
very cool. So just such a pleasure to have you a part of that. And yeah, I think that leaders and mentors come in all forms and fashions too. I think that some people think I'm too young, too old, don't have enough education, don't have enough money, whatever. Some of us are like, we're too quiet, or whatever. And
mhm,
you can put any label on yourself that you want
right,
to. There's a bajillion of them. And the truth is, though, there is no cookie cutter description for a leader and a mentor. We can all do it in our own way, and we can all have a good, positive impact on the people that we're meant to. And there's going to be different people that resonate with us and people that don't. And that's okay. And I think that that's the beauty of it. There are people that I really, really admire and really look up to that may not even know that I consider them a
yeah,
mentor. Or
yeah,
there's other people that like really resonate with one person and I'm like, not for me, kind of thing. And that's okay too. And
yeah,
so I think that's just encouraging for all of us. Like find the people that you look up to and learn from them. And then be the person that someone else can look up to and learn
mhm,
from. And we can all do that at any stage of our life.
yeah, I agree. That's great.
So I wanted to kind of just close out here. I know that again, we've talked about the fact that you've been able to come to our events and to partake in the coaching, to benefit from the scholarship. So you've really done the whole path. And again, I think it's a great example too that you're not Keller Williams affiliated, you're not in real estate. And yet you've been able to follow this entire path and benefit from it completely outside and apart. And we have lots of young people like yourselves that also have been able to do that. So it's just a good reminder for everyone that the ripple effect goes far, far beyond like where it started. So if anyone's listening right now and they're over 30, they're not going to be able to partake in the coaching and scholarships, but they'd like to get involved maybe as a donor and donate some of their funds, or as the mentor that we've talked so much about, either an instructor or a coach. Would you have any advice or anything for them for like why to get involved with KW Next Gen?
I think if someone who if they would attend like the QL event and see the level of effort and that goes into that, and realizing that it is a nonprofit, I think you just in doing so gain so much appreciation for the groundwork. I think as a donor, you could really see for yourself the outcome that you're and the people that you're pouring into. So yeah, I would encourage donors to hear from those who have received the Fund My Mission scholarships or those who have attended the QL, because I would think it's nearly impossible for someone to have attended the QL and not leave impacted in some way, shape, or form. It's just it's so impactful and encouraging and inspiring. And the Fund My Mission scholarship is just wow. I think it sets KW Next Gen apart drastically. I think that the leaders as well, like you can be a leader and then there's also like servant leaders, right? And I think again, after attending the QL myself this summer and seeing the work, it's those aren't just leaders there. Those are servant leaders really pouring into each of the young people that attend. And it's just incredible and amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And given the fact that my job and my position is lucky enough to discuss directly with you all and to hear your stories and get to know you all a little bit better, like I feel the same way that it's like as soon as you just hear from you, you're like, oh my gosh, like these are great, great people. And they have such great hearts and they have such big, expansive minds. And like, you don't, I mean, I've literally made it my full-time job to like support you all because I'm just so excited for you, and feel as though that people did that for me when I was younger and people continue to do that in my life. And so it's like, why wouldn't we want to do that for others? It's that reciprocity that happens too. So some really great resources. Totally like attending a Quantum Leap is a great way to understand anything because what's great is QL and KW Next Gen, again, like a lot of the resources go to 18 to 29-year-olds. However, the QL classes all across the country that instructors put on, like any age is welcome to attend one. I think anyone at any age will get a lot of benefits. It's still skills, tactics, methods, all these different ways of thinking that does not have an age limit on it. Like it is so helpful to learn at any age. It's just like lucky are those that have learned it even younger. So I think that's a really good thing. You can go to kwnextgen.org and on there's a tab that says events and there's events being put on by instructors all the time. And so that's a great one. Get into those rooms, see what's going on, whatever age you are, attend one of our classes. I think then it just helps like get it in general. And then, yeah, to your point of hearing more stories, I mean, this podcast is one avenue that we're starting to be able to hear more of your all stories and to share more of your all stories because those are the most important. And also on our website, we have an entire page full of impact stories. And they're short form videos of a lot of young adults that have either benefited from the coaching, from the scholarships, maybe both. And I just like, if there's any time that I need some extra inspiration, like just going to watch one of those videos or to look at one of those stories and just reminding all of us of like, this is who we're impacting. And this is who is, I mean, you all are who is going to take over the world after us. I may be like one step ahead of you, but like it all is this domino effect. And like the more that we can make sure that the future people are set up for success, then that means that we're all leaving a at least a little piece of legacy and trying to leave this world a better place than we found it. And that's really the best that we can do
Yeah.
as human beings. And I couldn't agree more that just hearing, and if you have a chance to get to know young people like Bailee, like
Mhm.
do it, if
Mhm.
if you have a young adult that has been through Quantum Leap, or if you have a friend who has attended a KW Next Gen event or something, like just chat with them and find out how it's impacting them, and then maybe seeing how it might help you in your life as well. So, for to finish this out and everything, what is your like next quantum leap? What do you have coming up that you're excited about? So what's the next step for you?
So, as I mentioned, my MBA, I will have completed that come this spring. So, definitely excited to tackle that completely. Our house should be finished, but as well, just focusing again on my connections, day to day relationships that I want to build with those around me, and resources, as well kind of falls into that bucket, but just focusing on a foundation with people that I can just further grow and develop, perhaps into a mentorship one day. So that's kind of my next quantum leap.
Wow. That's really exciting too, to be taking quantum leaps or those steps forward. Those seem like bigger than quantum, because we quantum is actually a small step, to bust that myth. But it's actually a small step. I'm like, those are pretty big steps. So a leap
They
in
took time to get
you're
there.
taking.
It took some
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. Lots of leaps to get. And it's so exciting though. It's exciting to step into a new chapter of your life in your professional world, in your personal world. And what's really, really neat is just to hear your passion and desire to have those relationships in your life too, to create that human connection and to create those relationships and resources that both benefit you in the life that you're creating, as well as the really amazing big lives that those other people get to create because
Right.
of those partnerships.
Right.
I think that's really some of the most meaningful work that we can do, is to create real, true connection with other
Hmm.
people and to pour into one another. It's a big, crazy world out there, and there's a lot of confusion on how to connect and when to connect and where to connect and all of those types of things.
Hmm.
But the one thing that people have been doing since the dawn of time is creating relationships and being there for one another in lots of different forms and fashions. So I
Yeah.
think it's just the best work that we can do for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, Bailee. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Again, it was so great to chat with you and kind of hear these new exciting things that are just right on the horizon for you and all that you've already accomplished for sure. I love being a witness to your journey and look forward to continuing to be. Is there anything else you want to say before we hop off of here?
I just want to say thank you as well. I appreciate KW Next Gen so much. And also thank you to all of the donors who have participated in the funding. Really, thank you. Would not honestly be where I am today without in my MBA journey without that. So thank you. Big thanks to all of them and to KW Next Gen as well.
Well, it's all worth it with you. So great to see all that you're doing. So keep making the world a better place, one moment at a time. You genuinely are such a gem. And so thank you for being you. Thank you for being out in the world, creating great opportunities and just great energy for those around you. And thank you for being a guest on our podcast to help
Yeah.
share that radiant energy to our listeners.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you have any questions about anything that Bailee and I talked about today, if you want to be the next Bailee who has taken a class, gone through coaching, benefited from a scholarship, you can find all the information on kwnextgen.org. Just like you've heard Bailee and I talk about, if you want to be a mentor, if you want to contribute to other people, if you want to create those relationships, being a donor, being an instructor, or being a coach is a great, great place to do that. So jump on our website, kwnextgen.org. All the information is on there for you, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining for this episode of the KW Next Gen podcast. We hope that maybe your interest was piqued to attend a class or get more involved. If you're between the ages of 18 and 29, we would love to have you in a Quantum Leap class. So go to our website, kwnextgen.org, and click events. Find maybe an event in person near you or an event online. They're always being added, so check back if you don't see one that fits your schedule. And if you're beyond 30, we would absolutely appreciate you considering being a donor. KW NextGen cannot provide these events, coaching, or scholarships without generous donations like yours. So again, visit our website at kwnextgen.org and click donate. If you become a monthly donor, you get great perks, or a one-time gift is always appreciated of any size. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next time. This podcast is for general information purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions of the guest represent those of the guest and not KW NextGen and its affiliates, and should not be construed as financial, economic, legal, tax, or other advice. This product is provided without any warranty or guarantee of its accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or results from using the information.